It's anti-inflammatory too. That's dope. That's dope.
Regulator.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the Professional Winner Podcast. I am here. You know me. I'm Gabe. Hey, what's up? Nah, but yo, we're here with someone special, someone dope, someone who's healthy as fudge. That's not the opposite of fudge, obviously. Come on. And I'm also here with my main man.
What's good, my brother? How you
what's
feeling?
What's good, John? You know, the professional winner himself.
How you doing today, my brother?
Where
Alex, man.
Yes, sir.
Business owner, Black King, boxing gym, Juice
I didn't
and
even know about
Go.
that one. Boxing gym. Damn.
We gonna get into it, man. That's what the audience is here for. They're here to learn about Alex, man.
For sure.
Yo, how you been, man? How was the ride over here?
Ride over here was good. You know, it's one of the nicer days, so can't complain about that.
That's awesome, man. So let's just go back into it. We're gonna go early before we talk about your entrepreneur journey, your businesses, why you here. Started us off. Tell us about your childhood growing up, where you from, Social Security, whatever you want to give us.
I think I'll pass on the Social Security. You know what I mean? There's a lot of technology out there. People are really savvy. But
and you're in Brooklyn.
And I'm in Brooklyn. I mean, it's a good segue. I was born and raised in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Cool, man.
We actually on Flatbush, which is
Awesome.
where I was born and raised as well. But a little further down, more towards the junction. As, you know,
Flatbush Junction?
Flatbush Junction.
Ah, yeah.
You would
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I went to Midwood High School.
I did for
You
my
went to
freshman year
Midwood?
as
That's
well.
crazy.
I went to Midwood for my
Hey,
freshman
it's a
year.
beautiful day to be a Hornet.
Yeah. There you go.
I went to that elementary school right across from it, PS 152. So I grew up there like most of my life too.
Okay,
It's crazy.
there you go. I'm
I also
familiar.
went to Midwood. No, I'm joking.
I really thought you went to Midwood. I went there for my first year before my mother decided I was too mixy and I had to transfer. You know what I mean?
Understood.
How old are you?
So currently I'm 31.
Okay.
Nice.
So.
All right.
Young as hell, man.
Huh?
You look good.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
There's a reason why, you know.
Is it the juice?
Listen. let me stop plugging.
Oh, he not
I start plugging Juice and Go. I can give you all the recipes, you know, anti-aging potion, all that now.
We
got
gonna
the-
get there.
the
We gonna get
elixir.
there.
The elixirs, all that, you know. But yeah, that is part of it. That and you know, I've just been an athlete all my life. Was a kid who was very curious, to say the least. Never really disrespectful, but you know, I like to do what I like to do, and you know, I couldn't stay still. You know, I always had to be into something. So, you know, mom, she did whatever she could to try to keep me active, whether it be swimming, soccer, martial arts is what I stuck to, and then later on, you know, stuck to basketball. So,
Damn.
just been an athlete all my life.
What
and
kind of martial arts? Like,
She did the regular Shotokan karate thing, which is boring as fuck. Then I gravitated toward boxing, you know, doing all the slap boxing and stuff like that, you know, in the neighborhood after you leave the park, you know, you want to get good with your hands. So I gravitated more toward boxing, and that's where I competed at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
that's awesome.
So tell me the moment when you start to feel that entrepreneur spirit.
I mean, when I was 10 and I decided that I was bored in the house and it was snowing, and then I decided to take my oak tag that I was supposed to be doing a project with, but gives a shit about that. I drew lines, you know, I wrote my information down because I knew that everybody was outside shoveling. So when I would go shovel, the people who I would get, I would just give them the little handmade card, which they thought was super cute, you know what I mean, or whatever they wanted to say. And then they would just call me. They would call me when they wanted their snow shovel, and I didn't have to walk around, you know, trying to find houses, you know, and, you know, burning, you know, turmoil trying to figure out like where I was trying to go. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I always feel like that's the case. I feel like it's crazy because I think 9 or 10 too is when I started cutting grass. My first cutting grass business.
yeah,
You say it's a business, but you know, you just trying to freestyle as a kid.
right.
I always feel like, you know, I look at colleges and everybody's like, oh, you know, entrepreneur courses and entrepreneur major, you know, and obviously business, accounting, taxes, those things can be taught.
Right.
But the spirit of waking up, going through the grind, going through the motions, dealing with people, managing people, I think that's something that's just innate.
Yeah.
You know?
And
that's
I
amazing.
think, you know, it stems from either seeing it, you know what I mean, either coming from a family that, you know, has actually gone through that process and you kind of grew up in it and kind of have to help the family business, which is not the case, or you have lack of access and lack of resources, which was my case. And, you know, I decided that I didn't want that to be a restriction. So, you know, it's listen, when you go into school, you know, public school, you wear, you know, different clothes every day, but you got to wear what you have. So,
Yeah.
you know, you get one before school starts, you get one before the summer. You know what I'm saying? As far as sneakers and clothes go, you get 2 shopping spurts. You know what I mean? So it's a winter time, and I'm like, I want to get these new kicks. You know what I mean? So I like my mom. I'm like, what's up? You know, she's like, nah. You know, you get one before, and you get one after. You know what I mean? And of course, Christmas. You know what I mean? You could get something, but like I said, I never did like restrictions. You know what I mean? Like if I wanted it, I wanted to have it. But I was never someone who was taught or entitled or asked for things. You know what I mean? So I just learned to get it on my own from a very young age.
Damn, that's dope, yo. I'm not gonna lie, I hate shoveling.
Oh yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily say I enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the funny part about me is like I really don't like the cold. Like there's a process that your body goes through, which you guys probably know. Right? Is vasoconstriction. You know what I mean? When you get cold, like everything leaves your fingers and your toes to protect your vital organs. That happens for me really, really quickly. It happens for some of us faster than it happens for others, but it happens to everyone. But for me, it's like instant. So the minute I step outside, it doesn't matter how many socks I got on. Uggs wasn't a thing yet, so I had the old ass Timbs, which weren't worth shit in the snow. You know what I mean? So I really did not like being out there, hence why I made the cards. I was like, I want to get in and get out. Or
that's awesome.
In that case, get out and get back in. You know what I mean? So,
but isn't that business? Gabe, we deal with it. You deal with it all the time, doing things that sometimes you don't want to do.
Yeah.
You know, I see you. I know you're the owner of
one of the
co-owners.
One of them. Yeah.
I see you there experimenting.
Yeah.
I'm trying new things. John, try this. What you think about this? Right.
Right.
Even though you have a staff,
right,
but you're still there. You know, sometimes even when you're a boss, you're still always really a worker, right? And people don't understand that grind. I think that's why you've been successful at what you do. Is sometimes doing things you probably don't want to do,
right?
But for a bigger cause, for a bigger goal.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I think that's like one of the biggest things about being a leader. You know, like. They can compare it like going back to like when they say war and everything, like when like your leader and like king would go to war with you, that's like damn, you know, like he's putting his life on the line. Like in a way you are too, you know, like you know, you could be just chilling at home, like sleeping, like, you know, drinking your juice at home and just chilling.
Yeah, one of the major contrasts that I've seen just in terms of, you know, staff's response to ownership or leadership or whatever is, you know, just a matter of being hands-on. You know, obviously when you're operating at a higher level, when you're trying to scale a business, you can't be so hands-on and you can't touch everything. But there's a certain connection that you have with, you know, whoever is taking on that role. I don't like to say employees or staff, you know, because everybody is just trying to learn and progress. So, you know, I always say team members. So whatever role that team member is taking on, there's a certain connection that you should have with them, that you are at the least willing to be hands-on and that they understand your process and what it is you have to do. Like, you know, so if I walk in and, you know, I have Sasha, who's like the glue of the shop, you know, Sasha, you know, couldn't function without her. You know, she has the most hours and she's there the most consistent. She's there the most consistent hours. And, you know, like I said, she's the glue. So when I walk in and, you know, I see that she's a bit flustered, if I can't help her, which is very rare because I always drop what I'm doing to try to help her, I make sure she knows that I have something urgent to tend to, and, you know, it's going to trickle down if I don't take care of it. I make sure that she at least understands that, and it's not, you know, a vibe where it's, you know, you're hired to do this and you just got to take care of it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm very big on working alongside with them. And like I said, obviously trying to scale the business, if I can't tend to something, I make sure that everybody knows why. You know, that sense of communication and that connection really like makes a difference, and it translates to customers. You know what I mean? Because if I was to just brush things off on her, you know, her energy would be different when she receives you. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, just genuine people skills and just, you know, genuine morality. You don't want anyone to feel, you know what I mean, like you're just brushing anything off on them, you know? So I think that that's something very important to note, you know, and I've seen the contrast and I've seen the downfall as well as the uprise for certain companies that I've been a part of, just in terms of having that connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope, man. So let's stay on it. Gabe drinking the Sour Patch.
How's that? And be honest, this is his first time drinking it.
It is my first time drinking it.
This is not edited. You know what I mean? There's no...
We can edit it if you want.
No.
This sour
no
patch is amazing.
Yeah, no. Don't do that.
Pay for it. Buy.
Nah, it's actually good because it really does actually taste like a Sour Patch.
Yep.
And like,
the name is
I'm
intentional.
not gonna lie, like this is like a summer, this is like a summer paradise kind of drink where it can be infused with any kind of alcohol.
Absolutely.
I
So
really,
what- so
nah,
what you infusing
100%,
right
bro.
now? Let's
Like,
go.
this reminds you of a Nutcracker, but like it's healthy for me.
Listen.
So it's healthy. What's in it?
So you have your lemon and your ginger,
Okay.
which is pretty standard, anti-inflammatory. It's a regulator. But what we do put in there is a B12 electrolyte, and that's intended to just give you energy. You know what I mean? So it's like it's used as like a pre-workout or a pick-me-up. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So like if you're having it during your lunch break or if you're having it in the morning, like it'll give you that kick that you need to get through the day. You know what I mean?
It's the B12 electrolyte would give it the Sour Patch taste.
No, the ginger and the lemon contrast give it the Sour Patch taste. In the electrolyte that we use, does have a bit of a flavor to it, so that's where that kind of sweetness comes from. But it's really just the lemon and the ginger.
Damn, bro. I'm not gonna lie, man. This is crazy because like you're like the connoisseur of like vegetables and fruit. Like,
I mean, I'm sure they have plenty out there. I'm just the premiering one at the moment.
Yeah.
And if you're in Brooklyn, you're not gonna find anything better. I'll tell you that.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not biased.
Yeah.
I'm a regular.
Yeah.
They do some. This is mine. The belly burner. I always
Belly
get this
burner,
one.
yeah.
What's in this one? Tell them.
So in the belly burner, you have we infused a bunch of things that are natural fat burners. That's like I'm a trainer by trade, strength and conditioning coach, personal trainer, gym owner. So I always I'm very forward with clients, and I tell them, 80% of it is in the kitchen. You know what I mean? And you have to be intentional with everything that you consume. So even if you are just having a fun meal, you know what I mean? If you put some kale in there, or if you decide to do salmon instead of tilapia, if a lot of people don't know, salmon is actually a natural fat burner. Kale is a natural fat burner. Is it gonna make a huge difference? Are you gonna get an 8-pack just by eating that every day? No, but it's the little things that add up to the big things. So in the belly burner, you have grapefruit, natural fat burner; kale, natural fat burner; lemon, natural fat burner; moringa, natural fat burner. And we just put all those together in this belly burner. And all of our drinks on our menu have that intention. You know what I mean? So we have a cold blast to go. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, the cold blast.
Yeah, the cold blast to go.
Yeah.
Just a ton of anti-inflammatories in there: turmeric, ginger, lemon, orange. You know what I mean? A cayenne pepper. That thing will literally clean you out. People have literally taken it. They've come back 2 hours later, y'all feel much better. You know what I mean? And it's not like a magic potion, but everything that was sitting on your chest, because it's really just mucus. It's just sitting on your chest.
Yep.
It really just helps you to regulate it. You know what I mean? So
you said the moringa.
moringa, yeah,
The
super
moringa.
powerful root. Every one of our drinks has a superfood in it, right? So that's one of the differentiating factors between us and some of our competitors. Every single drink has a superfood.
Nice, man. Yo, that moringa about to be doing the moringa. Over there.
No, and it's important to note, you know what I mean? Because I don't want people to see them I'm about to go put a bunch of moringa in my drink. No, when you're using a super root like a moringa or a spirulina, you put a teaspoon, you put a little bit. Yeah. Because especially for those of us who are not used to having it, it will really, really clean you out, and it will do it prematurely, when you're not ready for it. So you want to make sure that you're taking it in doses so that you're not overloading your system. You know what I mean? Because your body's going to react to it, because it really will do what it's intended to do.
Nah, yeah. I almost got fired a couple of times at the hospital. I wasn't responding to my patients because I was in the bathroom.
It depends on how many of those you bought and how many of them you drank. You know what I'm saying?
The first thought I had, I was either it's coming down from one side or the other side.
All right, yo, tell us about this one right here.
Right. So this is actually inspired by a gentleman, a young man who actually used to come in our shop. I haven't seen him in a while. Flo Smith, if you're watching this, find your way back to the shop. I'm very big on connecting with the community and making everybody feel like they're a part of the shop. So this kid actually used to come in right before closing. Everything clean already. He walks in, and I got familiar with him, and he used to just make this weird concoction. You know what I mean? And it was apples, ginger, beets, kale, blueberry, strawberry, and sea moss. And I remember the first time he told me to make it, I looked at it. And in fact, he didn't even put beets in it the first time. I added beets to his situation because I felt like it blended well. And, you know, I looked at him like, what? He's like, yeah, that's what I want to drink. And I made it for him with the proportions that I know how to do. And it tastes good. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, this is fire. You know, the second time he came out, I was like, yo, this is pretty good. And he was like, thank you, man. You know, like, this is just what I like to drink. I was like, all right. I erased the board right then and there, and I wrote his name. Well, he told me, like, his tag was. And I was like, I'm going to name this after you. And he was so happy. Like, for the next month or so, he brought all his friends. Like, yo, I got a drink in the shop. You know what I mean? And he's actually an aspiring designer. I don't know if he's back and forth, you know, in LA or bi-coastal, wherever he is. I haven't seen him in a while, but that's where this drink was actually inspired from. And I will actually say it's the most powerful drink on our special menu. You know what I mean? So just, you know, that's part of the things that I love most about the shop is that, you know, I get to connect with guys like John who come in often, you know, and I get to make connections, you know, with my guy Flo Smith, who actually was going to have us do our staff shirts, but he disappeared on me. So
Flo,
yeah.
come back home.
Come on, man. Let's do it, you know?
Nah, you know, he's just going with the flow.
Yeah. So,
He said, I got a drink.
I mean,
now.
his name is Flo Smith for a reason, so I guess he's, you know.
He's
so.
like, technically, I think I kind of own some of the shop. I don't even need to go no more.
Right. So,
he's in the history of it.
right.
Now, let's go back a little bit. Tell us, like, how Juice and Go came about, why you kept it in a community,
Sure.
which is mostly a black community.
Yeah. Very important.
Yeah.
Me.
Talk to us about, like, you know, just health and why that's important to you, having, you know, this type of shop in the community that you serve.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when we grew up in Flatbush in the 90s and in the early 2000s, you know, it was Popeyes, it was Wendy's, obviously Chinese food on every corner. I will say we weren't completely deprived because we did have like our Caribbean restaurants. Like I will say like our elders, you know, they definitely did hold down the restaurants, but, you know, it wasn't someplace that was allocated full on for like healthy options. You know what I mean? So that really came about, I would say, maybe 2015, 2016, you started seeing places. And Bed-Stuy was actually the first place that you would find like a vegan shop or you would find like a juice shop. You know, we were kind of late adapters, you know, on that side, on Flatbush and, you know, in Conyers and, you know, wherever else that was surrounding. So, you know, I definitely wanted to be part of that change, part of that renaissance. And it is a part of my lifestyle, you know, like health and wellness has always been a part of me, you know what I mean? So I want whatever business I do, I want it to be an extension of me. I don't want to just do things to try and profit or make money. So that's why it feels so good to do it. You know what I mean? And Juice and Go came about, you know, shout out to Enoch, Mitch. He's a partner of mine. You know, we knew each other from the barbershop, and, you know, he actually owned a juice shop before me. And I had a gym. And before COVID, my goal, I had a whole campaign running, was to do a gym and a juice bar. So I wanted the gym to be more like a speakeasy, and I wanted the juice bar to be what people saw. So, you know, typical would be called gym and juice, you know what I mean? But the gym would just be like an underground type of situation where people come in and they do semi-privates, private training, whatever. So Mitch was actually helping me develop that, and he was helping me price out my equipment. Then COVID happened, and, you know, it really didn't make sense, or because for contact businesses, you know, they had shut us down. You know, we didn't know when we were coming back, so it wasn't smart to invest in a full-on building, doing this whole build out. So, you know, I kind of cut it. But it's funny because I think maybe the day I decided to like gut that project, I think the next day Mitch reached out to me and was like, yo, what happened to the juice bar situation that you were doing? And I was like, well, you know, COVID happened, you know? And he was like, you know, one of the spots that I was at is open, you know, like we ceased the agreement. You know, you want to open it back up with me? And I was like, yeah, you know, and it was just like an instinctual thing. And then I think maybe 2 days later, we actually went in and we did it. And ironically, that was my birthday, the day that we went in and we actually signed the lease and stuff like that. So it was divine. You know, I say all that to say that it was just a divine connection from how I had asked him to help me, and, you know, how we went in and did that on a day that is supposed to be like, I guess, special. And it was actually my 30th birthday. And I had actually proclaimed to the universe that on my 30th birthday, I wanted to let some things go and I wanted to have some new beginnings. And there we go.
That's
know?
amazing.
Yeah, and I say all that to say, like, you know, a lot of people ask me, like, you know, how do I get my start? Or this seems like so hard, you know, being a part of this lifestyle and, you know, opening businesses and doing things like that. And I just say, just pay attention to your signs. You know what I mean? Be intentional with what it is that you want to do. Speak it into the universe, speak it to God, and things will start happening. And all you got to do is pay attention after that. Pay attention and be resilient. You know what I mean? And everything can happen. You know what I mean? I think it's very important. Yeah, because I never discourage people like, oh, this is so hard. Like, I don't sugarcoat it. I'm like, you will work 12, 14, 18, 24-hour days at times. You know what I mean? You're not automatically going to be rich. You know what I mean? Working capital is a thing. Reinvesting is a thing, you know? But I never discourage people. I'm like, you're going to feel so fulfilled that it's not even going to matter to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not, you know? So I just always encourage people to just, you know, go after whatever, you know, they envision. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
That's powerful right there, man.
Yeah.
Sheesh. That's what we.
I'm happy that I get to share
that's
that.
what we
Thank you
always
for
try to
giving me this
preach.
platform to share that.
Of course, thank you for
Yeah.
coming, man.
Yeah.
Nah, that's definitely what we always talk about, like all the time, man. So that's being a professional winner right there. So
There you go. There you go.
I have a question actually. Do you consider making juice like a culinary art? Or
I don't know if I consider it a culinary art. You know, I think it's a facet of that. You know, I do think it requires some type of creativity because everybody's gonna have their own portions. You could do, like, you know, me and Gabe could do the same combination. You know what I mean? But he'll portion his differently. You know, and I'll portion mine differently. So at the end of the day, I do think it's an art. Everything is an art. Everything is a craft. But is it a culinary art? I don't know. You know,
It's a
what I mean?
juicinary art.
It's a juicinary art. There you go. Yeah.
well, how does
yeah.
it connect for you? Like, are you big in the kitchen?
Well, it's actually funny that you asked that because, you know, I'm very honored and proud to say that I come from a Haitian household. You know, and a lot of the principles and the stuff that I use within the this field is from my grandmother. You know what I mean? Like, she's the one who taught me how to put together certain things, and she's the one who but like full on introduced us and made us realize that, you know, the holistic process is really the best way to go. You know what I mean? Because I would tell my grandmother, hey, you know, I have like a stuffy nose, you know, my throat is itching, and 5 minutes later she'd be in the kitchen banging pots and doing something. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, and she's like, drink this. I'm like, this is disgusting. It smells disgusting. I don't want it. You didn't have a choice. You know what I mean? And it was just, you know, she'll take a lemon and she'll take a honey and she'll like twist it up, and then she'll be like, here, take this. This will make it feel better. You know, she put me on to like so many different herbs, you know, that Haitians use, like to make tea and stuff like that, how to mix them, how to separate them, which ones to use, which ones not to use. She's the first one to introduce me to Cersei, which is like a tea that kind of cleans your bloodstream. You know what I mean? So that mindset really like derives from, you know, my grandmother. Not to discredit my mom at all, but I'm just saying, like, my grandmother's the one who would really like push the envelope on that. So yeah, you know, that has a huge, you know, that plays a huge part.
No,
you know
that's
what I mean?
amazing, because that's exactly what my family does. I can relate 100%. Like, in the morning, that's the first thing I do. I take some olive leaf, echinacea, a little bit of like the line mane tail thing,
Yeah.
a little bit of everything. Just, you know, maybe because it's gonna make me feel better. Maybe it's the mentality that's gonna make me feel better. But the holistic ways, it's like, you know, those things were put into nature for a reason.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
gotta learn a little bit about
Yeah.
it, right, man?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
and we, of course, we have both sides of the coin in our culture. So you'll see some, you know, early terminal illnesses, some early deaths, but for the most part, you know, I would say the majority, they're kicking for a long time, you know, and sometimes you wonder how that is. You know what I mean? Not only are they kicking for a long time, they look good doing it. So, you know, the proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? So it's not a myth. You know, you're just kind of, you're there and you're looking and you're like, damn, how is this possible? Like, how are you able to be so strong? How do you have so much grit, so much tenacity? And, you know, you look at some of the habits and you look at some of the resources that have been used. And, you know, I kind of just really leaned into that. And, you know, that's a big part of why I do what I do now, you know?
Yeah, man. And speaking of superfoods, like, sea moss has been trendy. the last year and a half, 2 years. So,
Yeah.
so I know you guys use sea moss incorporated in a lot of dishes. Speak to us about that. Like, what is the importance of sea moss? Why is it such a strong superfood?
I mean, the easiest way to explain it is if your body needs 101 minerals, sea moss has 91 of those minerals. You know what I mean? So let's just say you have, you're on a regimen and you say, I'm going to take my vitamin A, I'm going to take my vitamin C, I'm going to take all of this, right? You know, a teaspoon of sea moss can help to fulfill a lot of those needs where you don't have to kind of, you know, resort to that unwillingly, or you don't just like have to put so many different substances in your body. You know, sea moss is a way to kind of like centralize that, you know? So that's why it's become so popular. And I'm not going to lie and say that sea moss was big in the Haitian culture, because it wasn't. I actually didn't hear about sea moss until, you know, I was in my late teens. You know, it's not something that, you know, we use regularly, but I want to say Jamaicans used it a lot. Irish moss is what they would call it. And thinking back, I would always see it on the shelf. I just didn't pay attention to it because it wasn't anything that was a part of my custom, you know. But it's trending now because, you know, health and wellness has taken like a huge leap. You know what I mean? Everyone is health conscious, especially now after COVID. So I think people are just looking for different avenues to protect themselves. You know what I mean? So I think that's why sea moss has become so trending. But certain cultures have used it for years. You know,
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to that, does sea moss help with like blood pressure and stuff?
Sea moss, don't quote me on it, but you know, it does have a hand in regulation. You know what I mean? I have to be very careful with what I say because, you know, I'm not a doctor. You know, I'm not, I have nutritional certs, but I'm not like a dietitian or anything like that. But it does have those type of properties. But I'm not going to say that it helps with that
I would say it's crazy because, you know, I feel like it sucks because, you know, Black people and African Americans in America always deal with that. And I found that recently I sometimes, you know, have to regulate my own blood pressure. Yeah. And I'm just like, you know, so what kind of juice are you going to recommend, man?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously I'm going to recommend like a Flow Smith like we talked about.
Okay.
You know, we can go like a juice that's specific to beet, you know what I mean? Because it will help to regulate your blood flow. And, you know, a lot of like blood pressure issues come from the actual food and the sodium, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't necessarily relate the two, you know what I mean? But obviously juicing can help. But again, you know, I don't want anybody to say like Juice and Go said this, so I'm just giving full disclaimers. No, it's important to do that. And I learned that being a fitness practitioner, like, you know, there are things that we're allowed to say and there are things that we're not allowed to say, you know what I mean? Like we are required to recommend you to go to a specialist to answer certain questions. So that's why I answer them in the way that I do. But, you know, I'll always give you my tidbit on it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. Pardon me. Let me see. Who's calling?
Nah, yeah, the phone ringing. And we're not editing this too. Take the call. This is a businessman right here. The phone gotta ring.
If I get a FaceTime, I'm gonna have to answer it.
No.
I'm depressed. My phone ain't ring once. Man, I ain't got no business.
Yeah. Okay.
You gotta try this, bro.
Give me like 45 minutes.
Man, mind your business, bro. I ain't talking to you no more.
Okay, no problem.
He gonna end up in the hospital drinking. They were getting baby Infamil. I told him to try the belly burner. He's like, I don't got belly to burn. Man. Do you drink the belly burner?
Well, yeah. So actually, I do drink all of them, but like I said, what I like about our shop and our space is that we have functional juices. You know what I mean? So, if that's not the tip that I'm on in terms of, you know, trying to regulate and trying to like, you know, lose, you know, fat or anything like that, I won't necessarily have that drink. So I'll kind of choose something else, but I do have that for sure. Like let's just say I have a shoot coming up, or, you know, let's just say like when I was fighting, I actually used to drink it a lot because I had to make weight to get on the scale. So that was actually one of my go-to drinks. You know what I mean?
Don't let him leave that, Gabe. Fighting? Who you was fighting? Oh. Gabe, like, what are you talking about? No. All right, let's go to Jersey. Let's go to the gym. You have the boxing gym. Talk about that. The fighting. You know what you was doing.
Apollo.
Let's say boxing. Say boxing. You know.
Yeah.
You're from Brooklyn. Haitian, you don't want them to think you just out fighting people in the street. Professional fighting.
They could think what, they could think what they want. You know what I'm saying?
Are your hands like weapons?
No, and let me explain that.
You got training.
Because people was always like, oh, your hands are licensed. No, it was I have a boxing book that USA Boxing gave to me. You know what I mean? They issued to me just to show that I'm on record and I'm sanctioned to box. It doesn't mean my hands are licensed. Listen, I tell people all the time, there are people who never stepped in the ring that will run you to the ground. Like I move and I function with such a humility that I don't even really look to get into altercations or anything like that, because you can get humbled real fast. You know what I mean? That's one of the biggest things that I would say, you know, kind of moving around in that circuit and just, you know, being a part of that culture is, you know, you always got to practice humility. There's always somebody that's bigger and badder. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Not only you gonna back down, but, you know, don't go looking for it. You know what I'm saying? And as far as that, you know, like I said, I fought on the amateur circuit in New York, like the metros. I vowed to do it until I was 30, and I said after 30 I'm gonna be done with it, in which I was. You know, COVID actually took me out of my last tournament. I was in the quarterfinals and I was pretty upset about that, but I figured it was a sign, you know. So, you know, that's my background with that. Nothing too extensive, nothing too crazy. You know, I'm not.
What was the name of the gym?
Well, my gym or the gym
Your
that I
gym,
fought
your
at?
gym.
Oh, so the name of the gym that I actually have stake in, I have equity in. I'm not just the sole owner, and I think it's important to say that. You know what I mean? Because I also want people to know, like, it's okay not to own 100% of something. You know what I mean? And I can
100% of nothing is nothing.
So, and I can explain a little bit of that backstory. So I got my start in training in 2012, and I worked for a commercial gym, and there was a general manager. Me and him became really close friends because he thought I was diligent in what I did, and I was very keen to his mentorship, and that relationship grew over the years. And long story short, we own boxing gyms together now, 3 of them. You know, so it's always important to be diligent in what you do, and it's always important to hone your craft and take a very serious approach. Because had I not done that at 21, 10 years later, you know, he probably wouldn't have embarked on that venture with me. You know what I mean? So, you know, it really just started from there. And, you know, at that time didn't have aspirations of owning a gym or doing. I was just like trying to get better at, you know, servicing people in that particular field. And I was very serious about it, and I was very, you know, diligent, and, you know, that's how that happens now. You know what I mean? The name of the gym is Results Boxing and Fitness. We have them in Jersey. Maybe one day we'll have them in New York. The goal is to franchise them, go after a potential acquisition, and, you know, that's my part of that business, you know.
Nice. So you live in Jersey now?
Currently live in Jersey because that's
The price is right.
yes. You know, living expenses are manageable, and
New York is crazy right now.
New York is ridiculous. I'm happy I made that move. You know what I mean? Because again, you know, pay attention to the signs of the universe. You know, like when COVID happened, I remember speaking to 2 people specifically, and it was like, "How do you feel about all this?" You know, people are all scared and this and the third. I was like, if I die, I die. You know, I always tell people this, like, I'm not a, you know, super religious person, but I do have faith. And the problem that I have is I feel like a lot of people who do take that claim of religion don't truly have that faith. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it is like, it's not up to me when I go. It's not up to me how I go. You know, it's just up to me to do my best now, you know, to do my due diligence. So when COVID happened, I was just like, whatever happens, happens, you know. But I did say, I was like, I feel like this is the ultimate equalizer, you know what I mean? Because everything comes to a stop. Typically, we're like in a rat race, going and going and going, trying to figure out, you know, what we're going to do while we're in the midst of doing everything else. You know what I mean? So I was like, wow, the world actually gets to stop. If you ever said to yourself, I want to do something, or I really aspire to do this, or I want a career change, that was the time to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I'm not saying that you had to do it. I'm just saying if that was truly like your aspiration, if that was like a burning desire within you, that was the time to do it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I chose to kind of follow that path. You know what I mean? During COVID, and I proclaimed a lot of things. I had a board. I wrote on them. You know, and one of those things is like, I want a bigger facility. I want a juice bar. And it's funny because like I was in a transitional period because the space that I was in, I had to either decide whether I was gonna sign the lease or I was going to, leave, depart. And when I actually decided, I was deciding whether I was gonna move to another like place like right around the corner in Brooklyn, or if I was just gonna put stuff in storage and like figure it out elsewhere. And I remember I was in the apartment and I had just finished speaking to like the landlord, and I was walking out trying to figure out what I was gonna do, and then my mentor called me and he was like, come check me out in Jersey, come see me, and I was like, all right, I was like, he's like, let's have a lunch, let's talk. So I went out there and he told me his vision and he showed me some of the things that he had already done, and I left like, we had the lunch, whatever, I left, and then like a week later, I think like the last day of my lease or something like that, he called me again because I was like, you know what, I'm not going to Jersey, like that's a lot of moving to do. Yeah. And then he called me and he was like, so you gonna come or what? Like, I have particular plans that will involve you if you'll come. And I remember I was annoyed because this was like the third apartment I was seeing or whatever the case may be, and they try to like jerk me on the price, or it's not what they told me it was gonna be. And I was like, you know what, F this. And the minute I like said F this, yeah, he called me and I was like, you know what, yeah, let's come. He's like, I'll be there Thursday, 2 days from now, I'll be ready. And then that's how that happened. So you gotta follow your path.
You have a lot of signs.
Yeah, seriously.
But the thing is, the reason why I tell these backstories is because we really all do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if you put something out there, like energy is a real thing. If you put something out there, and especially if you say it, the power of the tongue is probably the most neglected thing that we like, that we fail to realize. You know what I mean? Like if you say something, you really are putting that energy toward whatever it is that you proclaim. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I'm saying, we all do. You know what I'm saying? So when people ask me like, oh, I want to like do this, I'm like, okay, you just took the first step. Now you got to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Like now you got to pay attention to what it is that's gonna kind of like push you in that direction. You know? So that's why I tell these backstories, because I think I really like, and I know that other people that can attest to it, like they have those signs as well. You just really just got to pay attention to it.
Yeah,
I feel you on that,
so
man.
I would encourage everybody to proclaim what it is, that whatever change they want to come, or whatever type of aspiration they have, and pay attention after that. Pay really close attention, because we do have the ability to manifest things, and it's quite dangerous.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah. That's facts right there, man. Yeah. That's crazy. I feel like I said that to a lot of people, and now I'm hearing it. I'm just like, yeah, no, that's dope.
That was probably intended as well.
You know what? It's been a crazy week, but to be reminded of that, it's like
it's been a crazy
I'm telling you, it's all
crazy week.
It's all divine. It really is all divine. Like things are in alignment for a particular reason, and that is just really like how I move, and that's how I regulate stress. Because operating in one small business or startup, much less 2-3, can get very stressful. You know what I mean? But
and for me too, like when I lost 160 pounds, like you just start thinking clearer.
Yeah.
Like, and you probably could speak to it as a business owner. I think this is why this is so important. Working out, juicing with all that stress, and we're talking about the beautiful thing in the process, but it ain't all beautiful in any business. Even if you're making a lot of money, it still ain't beautiful. There's a lot of things you got to deal with, people you got to manage, expectations. How do you communicate? How do you still be respectful? So talk about like how juicing and fitness allows you to manage your day to day as a business owner.
Yeah, I mean, as a business owner, or just I think as just a regular citizen these days, you know what I mean? Like I don't like to necessarily take myself out of that category. Like we really are like just patrons of the earth, and we're citizens, and most people live a busy day to day, so for me, like juicing is quite integral, because like I always tell people, right, they're like, how do I regulate my eating, or like how do I do certain things? And I'm like, well, fasting is a good tool, not fasting for like large amounts of time, but having a schedule, having this particular discipline, like, you don't break your fast until 10 or 11, You know what I mean? And within our day to day, sometimes that can be difficult to uphold, you know, because it's like, all right, well, it's 11, but I'm at work now. So what do you think? I'm going to stop and have a meal? You know, and for me, I might be driving from one gym location to another gym location, or I might be making juice, you know? And even when I was going from like door to door, from gym to gym, you know, training clients, getting on the train 4 or 5 times a day, I'll stop and get a smoothie in the morning. I have a juice in my bag, you know, so it's kind of just something that I've always kept with me because it's a way to directly, you know, feed your bloodstream nutrients. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's why I feel like it's super important, because it's a great way to break your fast too. And it's also a great way to like end your day, because I always encourage people not to eat after a certain time, you know, if you're on a regimen, or just in general, because usually after you eat late, you go to sleep, and then your body does not have the time to process that food. So it's sitting there, you know what I mean? And that's one of the biggest issues that, you know, we have as a society, is we eat too late. So I feel like juicing is is good on both ends, you know, good to break it fast, good during the day, and also good to, you know, kind of like quench that hunger, you know, or fulfill that hunger rather, you know, in the late evening where you shouldn't necessarily be eating solid foods, you know? if that makes sense, if that breaks it down. Yeah.
Dang. What's a good like affordable juicer you recommend?
Oh man, definitely not a pure.
Yeah,
Like,
about this.
you know what I'm saying? I'm drawing a blank right now. Maybe you guys can add it to like your subtitle. But there is one that I recommend. It's one that we actually use in the shop. In the shop, we do have an industrial, but we actually do use a home because we find that works a lot better, you know, just, you know, for our process. And like I said, I'm not remembering the name of it right now, you know, but I'll you know, they'll add it so you guys can know. But
It's gonna be on Amazon Finest.
yes, exactly. Make sure you guys get
man.
a commission or something.
I have a question about kids and like superfoods.
Yeah.
Is there really like an age limit for like some of the products that you use? That I forgot the name of the one that is actually in the belly burner. What's the superfood?
Oh, moringa,
Moringa, sea moss, a couple of things.
spirulina.
Yeah, spirulina. Is there an age limit for like when you can start introducing that to children?
I feel like once they start consuming solid foods,
Okay.
is it because guess what? In those solid foods, you don't know what is going in there,
Yeah.
especially, you know, the way in which things are bred these days. You don't know what's going in there. So it's not going to hurt to add those superfoods. But again, like I said, even with us, you know, ironically, adults are in the same space as the kids because they haven't really been consuming this stuff much. You know what I mean? In fact, the kid is in a better position because their body, you know, snaps back from it quicker. You know, their process is a lot faster because they're young. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of us are already broken down. So, you know, they're actually in the same space, you know, where it's all about portions. You know, if that's something that you're not used to taking, you know, you have a teaspoon of it. Like people who take sea moss every day, because you guys mentioned sea moss, they take a teaspoon of sea moss every day and it's effective. You know what I mean? So in my opinion, and again, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, I'm not going to give an age, but more than likely, if the child is consuming solid foods from God knows where, spirulina, moringa is not going to hurt them. You know what I mean?
I like that answer. So
Nice.
I started incorporating sea moss and stuff to my younger kids, and some people are like, "Oh my god, you don't know if you can do that." I'm like, "But you trying to give them Popeyes?"
I mean,
no
chicken
disrespect to
sandwich.
Popeyes. We'll take a sponsors deal, you know. Like, but you know, like if we can eat fried chicken any place, you know, not just to throw out any company, but we can eat fried chicken. I'm pretty sure it's normal sea moss.
absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So,
It's in the earth. It's natural.
right. You know, and I'm not going to put, you know, my Caribbeans on blast, but there's some things that we were given as young kids just to, you know, desensitize us that, you know, that we weren't sure if we get them. But if you ask me, like, you know, we're some of the healthiest, so I think we'd be fine. You know what I'm saying?
But I think it's probably because a lot of people are so unfamiliar with it that they're afraid of it. So it's like you could be comfortable with Popeyes, but like, what is spirulina? You know, spirulina. You say I can't. Spirulina,
yeah,
sea
yeah.
moss, all
Say
these other
superfood,
things,
you know, like
all these
or
super.
say
So
superfood,
yeah,
you know, maca
so
root
like
is another
then
one
they
of them.
see
that we-
that and they're like terrified. So
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's nothing to be terrified about. But like I said, it's all about portion. You know what I mean? All about portion. It's all about moderation. And that's with anything. You know what I mean? The funny thing is we don't practice moderation. We're not taught to in this society, you know? So,
Yeah.
you know, practicing moderation with that is the least of our worries. You know?
I got a question, man. So you be like going to the bar and be like, I can make a juice for you, girl. I got you. You already know what it is, because you be looking like you're a little smooth with it, man. I can see you.
It's juicing in your pickup. First of all, before you ask that, are you married? Anything like that?
No, unfortunately not.
You don't gotta say unfortunately. What you say unfortunately for?
No, because I at a very young age I did say like I wanted that anchor at home, and I still do feel that way. You know what I mean? Because I get a lot of things done on my own, and I have a lot of people that support me. I'm not gonna say I don't have support team. I'm not gonna say like I don't have like a support, or I don't have even women that support me, but I don't have anyone that is specifically allocated to me, if you will. But
so professional.
But that is always something that I wanted from a very young age, I think, because it's not something that I saw. You know what I mean? So I definitely wanted that positive type of an image. But yeah, no, not. You gotta. The synergy has to be there. The mindset has to be there. I mean, you said married. Marriage is that's a business move. It's a business decision.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
she got to at least run a 5K, right?
You know what's crazy? I gotta be careful, because I really manifested somebody the other day being asked the same type of questions. I was like, I would like for her to be this, that, and the third, and then I hit the roti shop that same day, and there she was. And that's dangerous, But like I said, things have to align. There has to be a synergy, and it has to be the right situation. So I'll say it again. Unfortunately, I've not found that. But like I said, I do practice. I do function in a space of faith. So I feel like that might be for a reason. Hopefully, I'm not cursed, because I definitely did. Question that one. I'm like, somebody put a curse on me, because this is crazy. You know what I mean?
Well, it sounds like whatever you say happens. So keep the curse. Say something positive about me. How much money? I'm gonna be a millionaire.
You?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh,
brother.
it's over.
I don't know exactly when, but it's coming. There's a lot of abundance in this room. I'll say that. You know what I mean?
I like that.
All throughout. You know what I mean?
Everybody on the team.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely,
definitely.
absolutely.
So
Everybody on the team.
At the bar, you'd be like, what would you be
So
He trying to
wants
steal
to
your
answer.
lines,
He
man.
wants to answer.
I don't know if you should. He gonna be at the bar like about the superfood.
Nah.
Like Spinderella. He goes.
You know what? I don't, because there's already this preconceived notion, upon like my entry, like, oh, it's a fitness guy. He gonna, I've seen people literally like they be eating something, and they just be like, they look at me, they look down, and I'm like, I'm not judging you, like, to each his own, and I like I said, moderation, So I really don't lead with that, like.
Nah, you're probably like, let me get a bite.
She look like it's fried. He look like my chest.
I've been known to drop some lines, but definitely not that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, it's always unintentional.
Gabe, ask him one more time. Gabe, ask him. He want the lie.
I typically don't mention the juice. In the first interaction.
So I got one for you.
Yeah.
So I can make you smile, right? It's a juice that can make you smile. I'm gonna call this sunshine. You want a little bit of my sunshine? I can make it for you later tonight. Say something like that.
That's kind of aggressive. You just met her?
No,
you gonna get a case.
I'll tell you one of the biggest problems that I've encountered is like I'm not aggressive enough. You know why? Just because you see so many different situations that are publicized, and you're like, you really got to be delicate in this climate. You know what I mean?
True.
So, and for me, like I feel like I got something to lose. You know what I mean? Like that shop like is everything to me. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the main connections I have with my younger brother, who's 10 years younger than me. You've met him. He's the operations expert in that shop. You know what I mean? I'll go in there and he'll put me in check. Like, we don't do it that way anymore. And I'm like, you got it, brother. You know what I mean? So, just moving with that type of purpose, I tread really lightly, and I will say that it has definitely hurt me in the aspect of like being social. Like it definitely has hindered me, but I'm okay with that because I'd rather be on that side of the spectrum than
Yeah.
You know, so I'm very, very, very
That's good,
particular
though.
with
That's
what I
good.
say. You know
Even
what
though I
mean?
joke
Like,
around and say this, I would say the best thing is like in life is that when you're not looking for it. you
I'm
know?
not saying I
So
never
when-
dropped a corny line. I've
Yeah,
definitely hit a, you know, we all have our embarrassing moments,
Yeah.
but most times I'm just typically very straightforward.
Nah, that's
you know,
good.
trying to figure out like if there's some type of an alignment, and you know, it's if not, then you know it is what it is. But this climate is weird. Like you know, everybody has this this concept of not being accessible or just being emotionally unavailable. So you know, dating in that is kind of tough because then you don't know what's like doing too much and what's you know considered to be like standard. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know. I see that there is no standard. I feel like every man can do different things.
I've seen dudes.
I've seen a guy do the same thing to the same female. Like you, it's a different reaction.
Right.
Don't like you.
Right.
What are you doing?
I've seen-
And that's just and at the end of the day, it's still their right to choose that, right?
I've seen some crazy. I've seen dudes do some crazy things. I've heard some
Yeah,
crazy stories
same.
from women. And
Yeah.
my reaction is always the same. I don't have that type of gall. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
in business, if anything is in business, I do. I'll take any leap in business. I'm a stepper. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But when it comes to dealing with people in general, particularly like you know opposite sex, no. You know what I'm saying? And nah.
Nah.
You just said business, marriage is a business.
Right, but you know, the hits that you will take in business are very transactional. You know what I mean? When dealing with people, it emotions are involved.
It
And
could be very criminal.
It's a lot. There's a lot of gray area. I'm not saying there's not gray area in business, but it typically you're able to like boil that down to like a black and white. Listen, you took this L. This is what happened. You backtrack. These are the steps. This is what I will not do again, and then you move on. When you're interacting with somebody, you don't know what type of reaction they can have. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, especially, you know, being like dealing like from a male to female perspective, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm always very cautious with that. You know?
Based off of what you're saying, besides the fact that you guys got kind of like the similar like beard going on, like you know, you guys both like
Mine's patchy
the
right
idea-
now. This is clean, man. I'm
Nah,
messed up.
listen.
It's okay.
You
It's been a
know-
long week.
Got a juice for that?
Oh no! That's a good question. Is there like the beard? A lot of people trying to grow their beard. Your beard growth have to do with nutrients and a lot of things. Well, some people can't grow a beard.
Absolutely.
I think it's also
Biotin
genetics.
in it, right?
Absolutely.
I think it's just genetics sometimes,
I would
but-
say from my personal experience, like not a doctor, but I find that zinc, you know, biotin, you know, those are the two things that have really like helped stimulate hair growth for me. Leafy greens are typically really good for that. Asparagus is great. I know that's a leafy green, but that one particularly. And yeah, so those are the things that like I, you know, draw to. But a specific juice for that, no. Yeah, I'm not gonna have anybody coming in buying, you know, 10 cases and saying this ain't help my growth. It's not gonna happen. We got to protect this brand.
You know you'll make
no
some
way.
money, but it's eventually
It's
gonna
not
come
about
back and
that.
cut you.
It's not
It's gonna
about.
come
It's
back
not
and
about.
get you.
It's listen. You wanna literally like have that slow burn where
Yeah.
you can build a brand and build a connection.
Yeah.
Not even an audience, like a connection with
Yeah.
people, as opposed to just making a lot of money off the bat. You know what I'm saying?
But the work you're doing is too important too.
yeah.
You know, like I know somebody may say it's a juicing store. No, this is people's life. This is people's
Yes,
health.
it's
And as a
people's
person who
livelihood.
work in medicine, like it's important. You know, I think CMOS and a couple of things changed me tremendously. Right. As far as like not being pre-diabetic no more, not having blood pressure issues no more, like bladder racks I incorporated, and I found it at a Jamaican food store. That's how I learned about CMOS and a lot of these things.
Yeah.
And one of my friends who's from St. Lucia started to put me onto a lot of these things like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
a serious job what you're doing.
This is people's livelihood,
These people's lives.
and this is the same approach that I take, and I encourage like everybody around me to take, as far as like us as a team, all of the members. Is like, because you know we are in a mixed neighborhood and there are different reactions to different things, and you know we are all trained to like cater to the person that's behind, like that's in front of the counter, because sometimes people are very particular, like they want to know what's going on, and ask a lot of questions, and it's our job to answer all of that. You know, yes, people can be a little extreme sometimes. Please stop doing that. But you know, we are very, very open to answering questions and making sure that people are. That's why what do we do before you even pour it in your cup? We give you a sample cup. Everybody gets a sample cup. You taste it, and if there's something that needs to change, or even if you want us to make you another juice, we do that, because like it's literally something that's going into somebody's body. They're consuming it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Damn.
very important.
I know
We take that very
honesty
seriously,
is
yeah.
key. That's like the number one thing. And then a lot. I mean, it sucks because in our society, it's like, you know, we're taught that we have to step on like other people's toes in order to go forward. But it's good to hear that, you know, that other people are, in a way, it's like you're giving people, you know, like a gift.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
dope.
yeah. Listen, we're honored to serve them, and you know, it's just a matter of creating that healthy ecosystem. We're just happy to have that, you know. So
Respect, man. So Juices and Go, are you expanding? What's the 10-year plan with it?
What's the address, by the way?
Yeah, and the website. Point somewhere. Point anywhere.
point anywhere.
Yeah, point. Boom. Website. We just know when we edit. Put the website,
There you
dress
go.
thing, you know,
There you
make
go.
sure people
There you
come.
go. There you go. I was confused for a minute. I was like,
Keep pointing. We can start just
you
ding
go.
dong.
so 8 Kingston Avenue is the address. Brooklyn, New York 11213, right off of the C train. If you are familiar with Restoration Plaza, we are like right around the corner. You know, so you can come there, you have a nice experience. You'll come see us. You go to my guys at the Burger House with my friend. Shout out to John. Shout out to Driz. You know, we got to plug them, and you can just have a nice experience over there, because, you know, it's not like downtown Brooklyn yet. You know, where
It's building up that way.
The salmon burger at the Burger House is
there you go.
good.
You know, so a lot of people be like, you know, that's kind of far. Come, you have a whole experience. Come spend the afternoon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's that. Yeah, and the website is actually going to be launched by the time this is aired. So
Nice.
juicingony.com. You'll be able to go in there, and what I'm really excited about is, well, I'm excited about two things. I'm excited that you know, guys like you could, before you come in, you know, while you're getting ready to walk over, you can go on. You know, you can put a time, and you know, we'll have your juice ready for when you get there. Because what tends to happen is, you know, you'll have the morning rush, then you have some dead time, and then you'll have the lunch rush, you know? So if we can get those orders in between and kind of fulfill that dead time, that just makes it a lot more sustainable and a lot more, you know, tactful for us, so that we don't have to like rush through things. You know, truly embody the concept of juice and go, you know, so you can come in, get a nice wholesome juice, and be able to be on your way. You know, because people have 15, people have hours, 30s, you know what I mean? So that, and I'm also excited about the cleanses on there. And it's not necessarily just cleanses, I would say juice packs, you know, because another differentiating factor that we have is that, you know, you literally have, you know, one of the owners that is a fitness practitioner, you know. So we have lists of juices and packs of juices that you can get to either tone, lose weight, hypertrophy training if you want to put on muscle, power. So we have all different facets of, you know, whatever you want to do fitness wise.
Oh, nice. That's like a membership fee kind of thing. Like you pay monthly, you get those packs.
Well, there will be an option to pay monthly and subscribe. There will be an NFT option where you'll be able to like acquire that, and you'll be able to get discounts, and you know, you'll be able to get access to the new drops before, you know, and get privy to like your orders and deliveries and stuff like that. But it's not necessarily a membership. Like anybody could just kind of go on and order it, and we'll give you a lead time for when you can get it picked up, and that's it. So I'm super excited about that, because like I said, those are some of the, because whenever I always encourage, whenever you're like starting anything, or whenever you're putting something on the market that you're fulfilling a need, you're solving a problem, those are some of the needs and the problems that I found. Is like, I'll go to some juice bars, depending on the time you go. If I have a client that I gotta go see at 12 and it's 11:55, I can't wait for a juice, but if I could just went and picked it up, that would have been very useful. So I look to implement that, and also just the intent, you know, like oftentimes I'll work with a client and they'll be like, what should I eat? You know, what should I drink? And I'm like, well, first of all, that's another payment. Okay. Second of all, that's another hour, which, you know what I mean? So like, this is, people will ask you these things on the fly, like as they're walking out, and as you got to go see somebody else. And I'm like, you know, I want to give you proper information. I can't do that just by, you know, doing it on the fly. So I always felt like this can be used as a tool, and I want people to be able to I want it to be digestible. I want people to be able to grasp that as soon as they kind of go onto whatever platform. So I'm not hoping to be the only one to do this. I'm hoping that we can kind of start a culture, and then you'll see it popping up on different juice bars. Hopefully, listen, we own the licensing, and Juice Press will hire us, or contract us, not hire us, contract us.
Nice.
So.
And you got to get a nickname, Juice God.
Nah.
He started the episode off, but I'm not that religious. He said, I ain't gonna let him go, But yo, I gotta make a public announcement. What you just did was kind of amazing, man. I was really taking it in. When somebody is not afraid to give that much information, to let you into their mind, to tap into that much information, is because they're very confident. And it ain't confident because they're arrogant. It's confident because the product is really good. You're the first, business that we really had on the podcast, and it was a reason why I wanted. We had some scheduled conflicts. There was some COVID things last week, and I was like, listen, I'm going to rearrange. I need you now because I support your product. Right. And I'm definitely going to subscribe. Text me as soon as the thing is up, because I've been trying to come up with a plan where I could just, because I'm not always in the area. I may be on the road. Right. So I want to come up with a plan where I can have juices in my book bag and I could just take one. Right. But I just wanted to tell people that the idea that you said, yo, it's something I thought about, but all juice people should do it. Right? You're already uplifting the community. You're already uplifting your competitors. They're still your competitors, right? But that's because you have an amazing product. And I just wanted to say I appreciate you. Thank you. Because this is something that's allowing me to get closer to my kids. I can actually catch them in the park now. I couldn't 2 years ago. That's huge. That was one of the reasons why I really started to get on my health journey. I'm out of breath chasing my kids in the park. So, yo, man, I love the fact that you're always willing to educate and learn. And I think especially representation matters. You are a Black brother. Yes, proudly. And it matters. So I just want to tell you I appreciate you, man, and thank you for sharing that with everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just I'll use that as a segue just to give a bit of a tidbit. I had bullet points of things that I wanted to mention. When I did come on your platform, is I see a lot of my peers. Because I'm big on networking across and just connecting with people who are doing not things that are in the same field but on the same path, and I see people be like, XYZ doesn't support, or just having this mentality. I guess what we could say that's most translatable is crabs in a barrel. You know what I mean? Where I want everyone to understand that the market share is really big. You know what I mean? The market share reaches beyond our Instagram following. Because you'll see a lot of stories and posts, shout out to those y'all who didn't support or this and the third, and just having that type of animosity, within there. But that's not helping me. Please stop that shit. I hate that. I hate seeing that. So I said, whenever I get on a platform, I'm gonna say, stop doing that. You know what I mean? Because, that your scope is a lot bigger than the people that are following you. You pay to run ads. Facebook ads are really big. TikTok is not a premiering platform to do that. You know what I mean? There are numerous ways to draw traffic to your site, to get you in front of different eyes and different audiences, and I encourage people to move with that type of intention and that type of energy, as opposed to trying to focus in on a small bubble. You know what I mean? We should start within our communities, and we should start within our scope, but it definitely reaches beyond that. You know what I mean? I always encourage people not to take offense. I don't expect everybody to come to the juice bar. You know what I mean? You might have never juiced a day in your life. You know what I mean? Or you just instead of being inspired by what you see, you might feel some type of animosity. As long as you keep that shit away from us, it's fine. You know what I mean? And we just reach out to people who we can help, and just try to create that imprint. So I always said that I would say that, because I find a lot of people get discouraged when they feel like they're not getting the support. Then you just haven't found your groove yet. Know what you're offering and why you're offering it. Start with your why, right? It's the rule of thumb. And, find your audience and continue to expand on that. You know what I mean? There are more than, just the 1,500 people that, we're promoting to. There's billions of people, globally. So I just would encourage people to have that mindset. And, I just wanted to encourage that mindset shift, because, it's just a trend that I've seen, throughout the years of social media. And I just wanted to publicly announce, please stop that.
Dang.
It will bring you
Yeah.
down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does.
And one of the biggest things about like resilience, and about like being successful in what you're doing is, just your mindset. You know what I mean? It's just what you allow to like infiltrate. You know what I mean? And just the hope and the belief that you have behind it. If you truly believe in what you're doing, like whoever gravitates towards it, do. Whoever does it, doesn't. You know what I mean? So I just always wanted to make sure that I say that. That's like big for me, because I feel bad, when I see people being discouraged and not having like 100% confidence behind whatever it is that they're doing. And if not, pivot. There's always a pivot. I could tell you guys stories about how I've pivoted, but maybe for another time.
We got time if you want.
After all that, man, you make me. I want to go to the gym now. Like, I'm still working out right now.
I mean, and that's another thing I try to like discourage.
No.
It's when people say like you don't know how many people see me. Like I said, there's always a preconceived notion, right? I can't walk anywhere without anybody either giving me some type of unwarranted confession, or
Sounds like what Gabe goes to.
Bro,
I'm gonna
like,
let y'all share this moment right
like,
now.
I literally will walk into the spot. They'd be like, "Yo, I ain't worked out in so long." I'm like, "I didn't ask you that." First, I'm like, first and foremost, how are you doing today? You know what I mean?
I'm happy I never did that to you.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
So I always discourage
Oh man.
the linear idea of I'm gonna make it to the gym. Just say I'm gonna get active. I'm gonna go for a walk. You know what I mean? Like I'm instead of walking to the train station that's on the corner, I'm gonna walk to the one that's 2 blocks or that's 5 blocks away. That's good for me. Like just say I visited Broadway Junction randomly and decided to walk up those stairs. I'll be like, you just ran a marathon, because them stairs is that's the stairway to heaven right there. Or not. But yeah, I always try to discourage that. You don't say like I'm gonna get in the gym. Just say I'm gonna get active, and that can mean to you whatever you want it to mean. You can say like, instead of going to like the bar, I went axe throwing. That's dope. I went rock climbing. I went on a hike. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to mean getting in the gym, and I will use that as a segue to plug one of my other projects. If that's okay.
Let's hear it, bro. Let's hear it.
Yeah, that's your platform.
Yeah.
What's
So
the other
like
project?
just to kind of tie everything in, we talked about pivoting, and the Go Trainer is a project that is like very special to me. Shout out to my guy Aaron Beasley, Stanley Fortune, two of my main guys that we do that project together. And it started off as a resistance suit. I don't have one with me, but you pretty much strap it on, and you can have self-contained resistance, self-generated resistance, where you can be anywhere and you can like feel like you're working out with weights.
Nice.
So that is something that's very special to me. And just like I said, discussing the art of the pivot, that is no longer just like a product, because we realize like we don't want a one-time buy. What makes us successful as like fitness practitioners is that we're able to provide this service continuously. We're able to turn that around. So the Go Trainer is actually converted into a subscription service now that would actually be tied in with the juices and everything like that.
No way.
And the
That's
Go
dope.
Trainer is something that we started in 2015, and we were just selling them. We would just sell like, this vest, buy this vest, buy this vest, buy this vest. And what we were realizing is people would take it, they'll use it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months tops, and then every once in a while you hear about it. Aside from our athletes who we were training, everyone would just have like these short windows of when they were using it, and we kind of want to like abate that culture. Like we want to make it so that this is something that is a part of your lifestyle. So again, to tie everything in, you can train anywhere you go as long as you're being active, and always pivot, because we could have gave up on the Go Training. We could say, man, we sold out on these products. The market actually became very saturated, because then everyone started using bands and stuff like that, and you started seeing more and more of it. And when people became savvy to like, Instagram ads and stuff like that, and when people realized that they can actually promote their stuff online, it became a lot more saturated. So we didn't have that, unique aspect about it anymore. It's like, I think I've seen that before. And I was like, no, you've seen something else, even though ours is designed a little differently. But instead of like, kind of submitting to that, we decided to pivot and turn it into a subscription service, and now tie it in with the juice business where, you're able to get your consumables and you're able to get, your service as well as your product. So there's 3 different models there. You know what I mean? And that's what we're pushing forth with now. So like I said, I just always try to encourage people to have confidence behind what they're doing. If you believe in it, there's always a way to pivot it and deliver your idea or your vision to your desired audience.
That's fire. That's dope.
So
I see, when I was imagining like the Go Trainer, I was like, damn, it's like a full body like wetsuit, and you're like every movement you're doing is like, because then I was like, dang, that's like I can be like, like Goku, like training at 100
something
like
that. People have I've been running with the thing, and people have been like, yo, you look like Dragon Ball Z, or you look like Batman, or and like I said, I didn't bring it. It was just like too much to bring and strap on. But here you go, website, thegotrainer.com. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, by the time this airs, everything will be like connected. So when you go to the Go Trainer, you'll be able to like pick your plan. You'll even be able to like be forwarded to Juice and Go, where you could get your juice. You know what I mean? And similar thing with Juice and Go NY.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
nice.
Yo, man, you working?
Yeah, seriously. That's being an entrepreneur right there.
Yeah, like I said, I don't like to like categorize it as work per se. I'm getting the things out of my brain. I'm trying to fulfill my purpose. Or whatever I feel like my purpose might be at that time. And I feel like once we all function in that mindset, we'll all be able to like be a lot more fulfilled, because it doesn't necessarily have to be anything that has to do with business. You know what I mean? Like you can have something in your brain where you're just like, I've really just been wanting to do this, or I've really been wanting to take part in this. You know what I mean? And it just makes your heart happy. And the happier your heart is, the better the world is, because there's some crazy shit going on out here.
That's true.
A lot of trauma and just a lot of unhappy folks. So I want to encourage everybody to do what makes them happy. And this is what makes me happy, getting these ideas out of my brain. And just my overall purpose is to help heal people, because we don't have the power to heal people, right? We can help do it based on the gifts that we were given, and doing that particularly through different avenues of health and wellness. So everything that I'm involved with, everything that I get behind, has to do with that. And because I feel like I'm living in that purpose, the hard days are not so hard, they're just challenging.
So for people trying to find their purpose or live out their dreams, own a business, or start a business, or start a new idea, what's the first step or first piece of advice you would give them?
What'd you do yesterday? What'd you do What'd you do this past week? And basically what that's going to do is tell you what aligns with you. Once you figure out what aligns with you, finding your purpose is easy. A lot of us already actually know it. We just don't necessarily know like how we want to embark on that journey if we haven't already. So that's the first thing. Like, what most people say, what do you like? But what you like and what you do is 2 different things. You could even evolve the question to what would you like to do, but then you kind of get in a space where it's not practical or it's not feasible. You know what I mean? So what did you do the past 2 weeks? You know what I mean? Or what did you do the past 2 weeks that you enjoyed? What is it that filled your heart? And once you kind of start digging into that, you figure it out.
It's like you're finding that passion.
Yeah. Or just what do you feel is, if it all depends on who you're talking to. Some people who are like in a business mindset, you might ask them like, what do you feel is like one of your biggest challenges? What do you feel is like a need? If you could solve any problem in the world, what would you do? How would you go about doing that? And that's another way to kind of attack that question. You know what I mean? I usually just go by one of the 2.
Oh man, you spitting gems today, man. I'm about to do a part 2 Patreon special.
So
you gotta bring the juicer here and just make juice.
we could definitely we could definitely do a segment. Come through.
Yo, we going to the shop Patreon special. You heard it here.
It's our shop, and like I said, it's all about energy. I love the energy here. I'm more than willing to come back.
Yeah.
We're also doing 10 push-ups as we're making juices every time.
I'll actually give you guys like some B-roll. Actually, we had an event 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
And I was like carrying some stuff inside, and there's these guys who come from the gym to the shop, and they were like, you need some help carrying that, whatever. And I was like, I switched really quick. I was like, I'll fuck y'all whole shit up. And he was like, word? And I was like, word. And it was like, let's get money right now, all around the world. So we put the benches out to do the dips. We put the stools out to do the dips. We put the benches out to do the elevated push-ups. We had the sit-ups going, and I could send you guys video from that. You guys could actually add it to here. But yeah,
as you're talking, yeah.
Right there on the side, just push-ups.
Yeah, we do that.
But that's the beauty of the community, though.
Oh, I love it.
That's the beauty of the community.
Because they literally call my bluff. Like, but I meant it when I said it. I've meant it I swear I meant it. Like I said it for the dialogue. Fuck y'all whole shit up right now. And we did.
Oh damn.
Yeah, and we just had a good time. You know what I'm saying? We just had a good time, and I got the pump that I needed. Like I said, it's about being active. Like,
yeah,
I actually was like pretty overwhelmed at that point in time because we were having an event. I'm carrying a big ass barbecue. I'm putting up a tent. You know what I mean? Like I gotta move fridges. I'm carrying like pictures outside to put on the table, and I'm just like, okay, there's so much to do. And then they just gave me that sense of relief for like just 10 minutes, just working out with them. Mm-hmm. And that meant everything to me that day. That changed the whole tide of the day. That made the day so much better. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's that. If that was one of your questions that you guys wanted to ask me, like what is my favorite part about doing this, is just the ties to the community. You asked me why I put it there particularly, the ties to the community. Like I feel fulfilled. You know what I mean? Like when I have kids come in and they're like, I want a juice with just apples. Like they know I'm just happy that they're with me and they're not across the street at Mickey D's. You know what I mean? Like balance. You know what I mean?
There's literally a McDonald's right across the
yes,
street.
There is. There's no cap here. There's no cap.
I'll be on the phone with him. He's like, "Oh, you going to the juice spot?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like walking right past McDonald's right now.
Yeah, man, listen.
I'm like, that extra couple of dollars is priceless. Trust me, I see medical bills every day.
Right, right. That's fulfilling to me. And since we opened back in 2020, we've since employed 5 people from the neighborhood, and that's very fulfilling to me. You know what I mean? Because I would have loved to have that type of an opportunity, at that age. So, that gets me that keeps me going. So.
Yeah. And I see tons of people walking around with your juice.
Yeah.
Walking into McDonald's. All right, balance. They want to get their Happy Meal for the kids.
And like I said,
while they eating a chicken nugget, still put a little sea moss in the corner of your kid mouth.
It's a judgment-free zone. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm just happy that they are spending some time with us and that they patron the shop. And, we encourage everybody to have balance, because when you go into that mindset of, oh, I'm going to be extreme. When you go into that extreme mindset, I'm just going to be healthy. You're going to get discouraged. You're going to burn out. You're going to crash. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I encourage the balance. You do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Like, just spend some time with us. That's all. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, come and receive some of what we're giving. Just get that knowledge so that if anything ever does happen, you don't feel like you got to go you don't feel like you got to go to CVS. You don't feel like you got to go to the pharmacy. Let me try this first.
Yeah.
And, if this works, then it works. If not, then you can go back to what you was doing before. It's very low risk. So
yeah,
that's key.
Yeah.
So it's that time, right? It's number one question of the podcast.
Okay.
Before I ask it, Luca, Gabe, anything you want to ask this gentleman right now? And come up with something, because his brain is different.
I just got a call from PepsiCo.
Okay.
They want to buy the whole thing. So my question is, are you a Ferrari guy or a Lamborghini guy?
I'm a buy a building in Bed-Stuy guy.
I told you his brain is
He's gonna sell the Ferrari or Bugatti, reinvest it.
Yeah, you know what? When it comes to like, I say this. You know what? Somebody gonna pull this back up like 10 years from now. Like, you said,
and he gonna be in a Ferrari.
Yeah.
But like,
listen, open the trunk, put the juice in the trunk.
Here's my rule of thumb, you know, because I am after wealth, not masses, you know. If I can't write it off, I'm not doing it. So if it makes more sense for me to say, hey, I was on a business trip and I decided to rent a Ferrari for 2 days, can I get a tax break?
You can write
I'm
off
gonna do
a
that.
G-Wagon.
You can write.
Yeah.
Don't give me any ideas, brother. Come on now.
Can because of the weight. He been watching TikTok.
You've been watching TikTok. There you go.
My Benz is is owned by my real estate company.
There you go. So
you could write it off,
right?
But just
right.
don't lie to the IRS because
Right.
we only use it for real estate.
Yeah.
I said a business trip, right?
Yeah.
Who said we wasn't gonna have a juice and go in Maui? Stop it.
Yeah.
Come on now. You know what I mean?
Oh.
But
I like that idea.
But
It's juice.
yeah, but you know, my mindset would be more toward that. And you know, those things can always come. You know what I mean? Like, I instead of buying it, I might finance it and get rid of it in 2 years. Like, I try to make sure like whatever I do drive can appreciate. You know, which is kind of weird.
One of the things
to
about
say.
cars, as soon as you drive it off the lot,
Right,
Yeah.
but there are some that hold value pretty well.
Mhm.
I will say that, and I try to choose those cars. I don't know that Ferrari or Lamborghini is one of them. I want to say Corvette is.
I'm be honest, I really have no idea.
And
Man, but I ain't had those conversations yet.
And what
I'm nowhere near there.
and what I do pay attention to is the cars who are actually turning hybrid. Like, for instance, this is common knowledge, so Dodge don't come after me, but I heard that they're actually coming out with a hybrid Charger. So what then happens is like how you have your classic 68 Corvette. So all the like the scat packs are gonna become like those because they're not making those anymore. They're gonna make a hybrids now. So I try to pay attention to that, and I try to make, you know, moves like that. Again, balance, right? You know, because I'm gonna have fun. You know, what's the sense of doing it if you're not? But I try to think along those terms. And listen, I'm not saying that I'm not gonna slip up sometimes. You might see me. But I'm saying I try to have that mindset first. You know what I mean? Because I'm really big on like I said, I have a huge support system. You know, I would never get on here and say like I'm alone. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't have an anchor at home, but I have a huge support system, and you know, I wish I could just name everybody who's supporting me, and you know, I just
start pointing and text me the names. We'll just start.
But you know, I'm big on like if I have it, I would like for them to have it too. Yeah. You know, and that just doesn't seem like one of those things. Unless, listen, Ferrari, if you want to give us a deal where each of us are driving, and then listen, I'm more than happy to do that. But yeah, you know, and just you know, just for context, I like Ferraris better. You know,
I can see you driving a Tesla too, man.
I mean, gas. Ooh, that's not.
Yeah.
I think Tesla is a better option for everyone.
Don't give me.
Gas is not an issue.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
Yeah, you
that's
hope.
true, yeah.
Exactly.
Hit the Ferrari like this.
Next thing you know, you driving the far like what happened? You know,
You'd be surprised. The ones with that type of money probably the worst people mad about the gas because they know how to save and manage their money.
Exactly. Like
They be the ones that don't have nothing. Be like $100 for gas, credit card.
Right. But you know, that like I said, I just try to always think along those lines. But I see where he's going with the question. You know what I mean?
One more thing for you, actually.
And I wouldn't sell to Pepsi, by the way.
Yeah, and I don't
It's
see-
a partnership
I don't
play.
see-
It's not a sale.
He likes Coke.
Yeah, it's no. It's
No.
no. I'll partner
Don't they?
with
They
them,
probably own.
but-
I think
but-
they own all of that.
Yeah,
Pepsi owns
it's-
Coke, probably. I think.
I would do business with them, but I'm not
really
selling to them.
disappointed with what they did with the Naked brand.
Yeah, it's tons of sugar in there.
Yeah.
Tons of sugar in there, you
Yeah.
know? And that's exactly what they would do. You know, they'll take
Yeah.
something like this and be like, yo,
It's gonna be Sour Patches floating around.
facts.
It'll be
You
like
know what I mean?
lemon ginger and Sour Patches really inside.
Right. You know, so like it's always a way to leverage. You know, we always have leverage. You know what I mean? So don't go for the first sale. You know, that bag might seem very, very tempting. You know what I mean? But think about the culture you built and everything that you did together. Don't be stupid now. But you could definitely go back and forth with them a little bit because they came to you. You know what I mean? And what was your other question?
I wanted to bring up kombucha.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about kombucha?
I think it's a fun drink. I don't have anything against it. That's as far as I'm gonna go.
But you don't drink it.
I just never been a fan of it. You know what I mean? But I think it's good, and I like that people do drink it because I'd rather you drink that than Sprite. You know what I mean? And I'm not comparing the two, but I'm very big on consumer feedback and that is the reason why people that's the reason why people drink kombucha, because it has that spritz to it. They feel like they're having a fun drink. You know what I mean? I'm all about the TikTok mixtures and putting fruits in it. Do it all. I don't see anything harmful in kombucha. You know what I mean?
Are you familiar with GT Dave?
No.
He basically owns like the majority of the kombucha market.
Okay.
It's like the most famous brand, the most popular brand, but he is a legitimate billionaire just off kombucha.
Why? Listen,
I mean,
kudos
you're
to
a
him.
Businessman, you know.
Kudos to him.
So
Yeah.
research into
Yeah,
that might not be a bad idea.
I'm here to learn too.
All right,
You know
so
I
what
mean?
would be your juice nickname?
Shit. I'm pretty bad at this stuff. How about we let the audience decide?
Yo, comment below.
Comment below. What's my audience?
The Juice
You know what I'm
King?
saying?
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
Little Juice.
Wow. Atlantic, hit me up.
Little Juice.
Like, who would have thought that? Listen, right?
First we on kombucha, who?
Right. We laugh now, right?
Yeah.
Who thought that we would have had a Dub Baby and a Lil Baby in the same era? Who
I
thought that we was
know.
gonna have that?
I
right?
know.
And
Right.
both be super huge.
Right. Who thought?
Like the biggest
This is
artist.
why I can't be an A&R. You think
Yeah.
I was ever gonna sign? No, change your name.
Yeah,
But
nah.
listen, clearly I don't have the eye. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we say Lil Juice, but we have Lil Pump, right?
Yeah.
We had Lil Uzi Vert. You know
Lil
what I mean?
Juice may work with the community.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, Lil Juice, we got a Lil Juice shop.
Right. Nah,
Network
but
just
Big
went
Juice
up.
though.
Big
not
Juice?
I don't
Big
know
Juice.
about Lil Juice. I don't
Big
know
Juice,
about-
gotcha.
Yeah, that's how you keep your masters.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Your
right.
juice masters.
Right. There you go.
Yo, Gabe, Luca, come on, the brain is big.
Yo, Big Juice.
Nah, but the most important question that we always ask, what is a professional winner to you?
A professional winner to me is somebody who bets on themselves, you know, because no vision is a dead vision. You know what I mean? And if you truly consider yourself a professional winner, you're gonna find a way to get to your end goal. If there is even an end goal, you know, because our goals are like continue. You're gonna continue you're gonna find a way to continue to ascend. You're gonna find a way to make it work. That to me is a professional winner, somebody who has that grit, tenacity, that resilience, who's always gonna bet on themselves, even when they're down in their luck. They're still gonna have that supreme confidence behind whatever it is that they're professionally winning. You know.
Nice, man.
Yo, this was a great episode,
Nah,
man.
yeah.
I enjoyed this.
Blew me
I
away,
enjoyed
man.
this.
That's dope.
I
Nah,
appreciate
got a
you.
chill vibe, man.
Thank you, bro.
I'm gonna be
Thank
at the
you.
shop anyway, but I gotta look at this. We're gonna find their schedule, see when they free.
I'm
We
loaded
got
up.
juices, man.
It's crazy because I'm like, I think
You
I'm
know,
like
I'll be
10
there
minutes
Tuesday.
away.
Yeah.
I'll be there Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Nice.
we gotta find the time, man.
So you 10 minutes away? You
And
got
literally, like, I'm
Yeah.
right, like, you said Utica, Kingston? I'm like a
Kingston
stop
is
away
something?
on
You
Utica.
gotta come
So that's
by.
great.
You gotta
Yeah,
come
yeah.
by, bro. You gotta come
Nah.
by. But like I said, it'll find everyone when they're ready to find them, if they're ready to find it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when they're ready for it to find them, it will find them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't force any of that. You know, like I said, I just hope that, you know, at some point in time you come check us out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be thinking this weekend because we need a professional winner drink.
Say less.
Yeah, we need a
Listen,
professional winner juice.
He says that. I'll have it by Monday. He won't even know.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we need a professional winner juice.
Say less.
Nah, I
Say
said now
less.
I gotta come by and actually see that. Nah.
Say
Yeah.
less. You know what
I'm
saying?
promoting it on Instagram. Professional winner juice coming to Juice and Go.
Say no more.
Let's go.
I'll have the label done by next week. Stop playing.
I'll make that
Alright.
real for you, man.
But Luca won't approve it unless it has kombucha in it. Nah, I'm joking.
Listen, I might be able to set something up. It's funny when you said that, because he mentioned kombucha, I was already thinking, like, how could I infuse that in it? Because that's something that we don't yet have. So I like to make sure that if we're gonna do something as far as like a collaboration, or if we're gonna launch something new, that adds value on both sides. Not because we decided that we wanted to inflict it upon you, but because we felt that you needed it, but because we felt you would enjoy it, or because you asked for it. You know how many times, like, Flowsmith was just one, but you know how many times, like, that's why I have a regular menu, and that's why I have a chalkboard, because I will change the special menu. If somebody comes in and they make something and it's good and they're a regular of ours, we'll take it and we'll put their name up.
Nice.
Like Samaria, you know, I think you get that sometime. She used to work with us, you know, before she went off to college. Samaria, we miss you. You know, she used to come and she loved, like, to have apples and apple juice. So,
Yeah.
you know, that was just her drink, and we put it in, and her name still lives there today. You know,
Oh,
because it's one of the most popular drinks. So, you know, and people liked it. Like she'll be like, "You should try this one." And people liked it, so it added value on both ends. You know, it made her happy and it made them happy. You know what I'm saying? So, professional winter drink is gonna be lit. I'm telling you. Say
Let's go. Y'all
Yeah.
heard it here.
Lit.
Let's
Nah,
go.
That's dope, yo. Because you like to see people win. So I mean, that's something you guys both have in common.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I think that we should all have that mindset shift, and you know, we should draw inspiration from each other winning, as opposed to anything else that, you know, is not to be mentioned right now.
It's a lot of fun of being on the jet with all your guys and being by
Yeah.
yourself.
Absolutely.
I think it would be a lot fun. And then you could do more.
Yeah.
Oh, you bring 100,000? I can bring 100,000. Let's
I
do
would-
something.
I'm looking forward to having those interactions with all of you. All of you, my guys in the room right here. You know,
Yeah, that's what it's about.
like-
Collaboration, man.
Definitely gonna come by challenge into a push-up competition. No, I'm probably gonna lose,
It's
but I'll
not
still do it. Nah.
far-fetched. And the thing is,
So you got to walk into the store like and say something crazy to get him hyped.
Yeah.
He gonna be making juice like, yo, forget this juice.
that
Slit on your shirt already, ready for
Yeah, ready for the ring.
It's not ripping.
but you know what I will say, like, and this all ties into like just in terms of being a professional winner, like also a matter of like support across the board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when we did have that I'm not even gonna call it a competition. Like it was like a workout versus where it was no winner. You know, like it really wasn't about who won. Like he was like, I'm gonna hit a 50 clip. I was like, I'm gonna hit a 50 clip. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna do more than you. It's like we're gonna match each other. You know, we're gonna like find ourselves on an equal playing field. We're gonna feel good after, and we bonded. Like we hugged so many times after that. You know what I mean? Like
And everybody won.
everybody won. You know what I mean?
Everybody
And
wins.
that is, you know, my sub definition to a professional winner. You know, somebody who is not afraid to support their peer. You know what I mean? So and that's like, I'm gonna really send y'all that video. Like it literally was just that. You know what I mean? Like we spoke aggressively to each other in a playful way, and we got the work in. You know what I mean? And at the end of it, we didn't care who did more. We just, you did 50, you better do 52. Like I did 20, you better do 22. Like it's a matter of accountability. You know what I mean? Like that's really all it was. You know?
Yeah.
Nah,
So-
man, that speaks all of it into it, because you know that's what drives you forward too, with
Yes.
success, with business, with health, with life.
Yes.
The best. That's why your circle is amazing. You know,
Yeah.
it's gotta be amazing.
Yeah. So welcome you guys. Welcome you guys. You know what I mean? Shout out to the circle, man.
Yo, God is good.
Oh
All the time.
And we are out.
like, subscribe,
Peace.
download on all audio streaming platforms. We out.
Yo,
Dope, man.
you was the best, man.
I
But I
appreciate
already
you
knew
guys.
that.
Appreciate you guys. That was
great,
so.
bro.